All right, ladies and gentlemen, baby faces and heels. We are back with another episode of the Wrestling is Bullshit podcast. I got my boy Ant from the Lights Out podcast with us today. We're going to talk about a lot of different things today. We're going to do, to give you a brief rundown of today's episode, we're going to do two major fallouts from Monday Night Raw just 24 hours ago. We're going to do UFC 319. I'm going to have Ant cover that. We're going to do Triple Mania. We're going to preview AEW X New Japan Forbidden Door. And then we're going to close out with NXT Heatwave, which, of course, as we know, is going head to head with AEW's next upcoming pay per view in just a couple days. So let's get into it, man. We got Monday Night Raw, two big takeaways going into the build to Clash in Paris. We had a big bombshell here. We had Naomi relinquishing the women's world championship as she is in fact pregnant, and it's a shame because she's been on one of the greatest championship runs of her career. She's had one of the greatest heel runs of her career, and now while it is amazing that her and Jimmy Uso will be having a child, we definitely wanted to see more from her, and her time is cut short in the ring. It's unfortunate, but here we are. These things happen. It's bittersweet. It's great that they're having a family, and it's a shame that what was one of the most interesting women's world championship reigns in a very long time is coming to an end, but I'm sure we will pick back up in the future. Another big part of Raw, and the second big takeaway, the second of two here for the most recent episode of Raw, was an Extreme Rules match between Jey Uso and Braun Breaker, which saw interference from Roman Reigns, interference from Bronson Reed, setting up Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, setting up a potential feud with Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker, and overall just being a fantastic Extreme Rules match, a good callback in Philly to ECW. Right, we got Jey Uso hitting the splash on Braun Breaker through the table to get the 3 count. Just a very fun, enjoyable moment, and we have to celebrate when we have fun matches like this, especially as a Monday Night Raw main event. I thought this hit on all levels. I thought this was fun. I thought this was excellent. It brought a bit of brightness to my Monday. And yeah, Ant, what are your thoughts on either situation?
I guess we'll start with the Naomi thing first. I think you hit the nail right on the head. This was one of the most interesting. How do I say it? It was most interesting cash in, and definitely one of the most interesting title reigns. And it really sucks that it had to end this way. I mean, I guess it can go down as one of those what if moments too. I mean, because I mean that we didn't. I feel like we didn't really see much of Naomi's potential as a heel just yet. I feel like there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered. I think it just go down as a big what if. I mean, it sucks, man. I'll be honest, man. I'm happy for them. I think this is. I mean, having a child is honestly one of the greatest things in the world. I mean, but on the other hand, like when it affects your career in the long term, it's it sucks. And you have and Naomi, man, like she's really talented. She's proven that, but it just sucks that we won't know her full potential because of this. Like this is kind of like I don't want to say a roadblock, but it kind of feels like a fork in the road, I guess.
Yeah, right. I like how you said we haven't even tapped into her full potential as a heel, but what we did see was fantastic. We could tell that it was going places, and I think when she's ready to get back in the ring, it will continue to go places. Perhaps she'll have some time to reflect on her recent success as a champion, as a successful heel in WWE, especially on Monday Night Raw. Um, it, it's bittersweet, right? It's great that they're having a child. It's a shame that we're losing one of the more interesting women's wrestlers in WWE, but we can't be selfish. They want to have a kid. That's fantastic, and I'm so happy for them. Um, let's have you break down the UFC 319 card, and I'll be looking forward to giving some of my thoughts on the future of UFC as well as perhaps the main event. I'm happy to hear yours for every match on the main card for UFC 319. Let's have it.
Thank you, brother. What's going on, guys? My name is Ant, better known as Lights Out, and we're gonna talk UFC 319, Duplessis versus Chimaev, live from Chicago, Illinois, the punk rock capital of the world. We're gonna go fight by fight on the main card, dissect what happened inside the octagon. But without further ado, let's get started. All right, first fight on the main card. Tim Elliott defeated Kai Asakura via submission by guillotine choke in the second round at 4 minutes 39 seconds. What did I like from Elliott? I liked his veteran savvy shown. He methodically neutralized Asakura's striking with well-timed takedowns, and that mounted guillotine choke in round two was executed with precision and composure, and it's a textbook example of grappling under pressure and control under pressure, and it proves that Tim still got it even at his age of 38. That's honestly very impressive, and I like the way that fight ended. As for what I didn't like, Asakura looked stagnant and unable to adapt once taken down. The offense was there, but it all disappeared post wrestling. As far as key takeaways, I'll start with Tim Elliott. He demonstrated his grappling expertise and veteran savvy, and he capitalized on Asakura's lack of defensive adjustments. Now, as for Asakura, he showed promise early, but he failed to adapt once taken down. And this highlights the need for improved ground defense. I mean, it was a good fight for as long as it lasted, but I think that's what needs to. If I'm the camp of Kai Asakura, I would go back to that fight and try to focus like on pinpoint that one moment where it went wrong. But this was a great showing by Tim Elliott. Next fight, Michael Venom Page versus Jared Cannonier middleweight fight. All right. So what I liked, MVP striking, dangerously slick. He dropped Cannonier multiple times with fluid combos and the timing. And that timing. He owned the striking exchanges through rounds 1 and 2. What didn't I like? And this more or less applies to MVP. Despite the knockdowns, he seemed to coast by round 3. His overconfidence allowed Cannonier to climb back and control the final stanza. And the result was a lackluster finish on what could have been a dominant showcase for MVP. I mean, if you've seen MVP's fights in Bellator or any of his other stuff, he's infamous for his finishing abilities. And we obviously didn't get that tonight. We haven't even gotten really anything from his Bellator run in the UFC yet, which is very disappointing. Because I mean, I've been following Michael Page's career for a while, and he's a knockout artist. I mean, plain and simple. If you want violence, you want chaos, look no further than Michael Venom Page. But I feel like in the UFC, I mean, I don't know if he's just finding his footing or what, but I really want to see the Michael Venom Page of old. I want to see the Bellator Michael Venom Page that we saw knock out guys like, who did he knock out? Fuck, you know. Well, I guess I'll put it this way, just to save time. The Michael Venom Page that knocked out like his opponents, I guess, right? That's the best way I can put it. Let's go to key takeaways. Michael Venom Page, he displayed superior striking and timing, securing multiple knockdowns. However, his tendency to coast in the later rounds, let's just say, it might hinder his finishing ability. I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, if we look at Michael Venom Page, he's a finisher, right? 24 wins, 3 losses. He's a hell of a striker. He's not a bad wrestler per se, but we'll get into that another day. I mean, if we look at the guys who he's beaten, Kevin Holland, Shara Makhmonov, and now just recently Jared Cannonier, he has the ability to. He can win fights. I want to see him knock out his opponents. I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one. But as far as Jared Cannonier, exhibited resilience, managing to recover and control the final round, and he indicated. But I mean, I think he needs to go back to the drawing board on this one. I mean, he's still a great fighter, but this isn't the Cannoneer that we know that's beating guys like Gregory Rodriguez, Vittori, hell, even Sean Strickland. Like, what happened to this? What happened to this Jared Cannonier? What happened to that Jared Cannonier, man? Like, I think that's my big problem with him is that like he's very inconsistent. But I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see for both of them. And that's my opinion on that fight. Our third fight of the night: Jeff Neal versus the Fighting Nerds' own Carlos Prates, welterweight fight. Carlos Prates defeated Jeff Neal via knockout spinning back elbow in round one at 4 minutes 59 seconds. Oh man, man, that shit was nasty, bro. Oh my god. Like I thought like when Jeff Neal went out, man, I thought he was out cold, man. God. It was scary. But let's focus on the fight first. Let's dissect this. Carlos Prates, he showed exceptional striking precision and timing, and he delivered a highlight reel spinning back elbow that secured a huge finish in the dying seconds of the first round. It was absolutely beautiful, man. That was and the way it sounded too. It's like I think Joe Rogan described it best. It sounded like a baseball bat cracking. If you go back and rewatch that fight, that's what it sounded like. As for Jeff Neal, I mean, the only thing I can really say is he dominated aggressive strike. He demonstrated aggressive striking early in the round. I mean, he landed some effective leg kicks, and his boxing combinations kept Prates on the defensive, which was actually really impressive. I mean, it looked like Prates was gonna go down any day now. Had that spinning back fist not landed or the spinning elbow, I don't think Prates would have made it past the third round or past hell, even the second round. But what I didn't like, Prates, he appeared to be overwhelmed by Neal's early aggression, and he struggled to find his rhythm before landing that KO. As far as Jeff Neal goes, defense was compromised in the latter part of the round as he failed to anticipate Prates' spinning back elbow, which led to the knockout. As far as key takeaways, I'm going to start with Prates first. His victory underscores the importance of maintaining composure and capitalizing on opportune moments, even when initially pressured. And that was honestly really cool. As for Jeff Neal, his performance highlights the need for continuous defensive awareness and adaptability, as a single lapse in concentration can lead to significant setbacks. All right, co-main event. And this was honestly really cool too. This was a good fight too. Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico featherweight fight. All right, if you didn't know, all right, the results. Let's talk about what happened first. Lerone Murphy knocked out Aaron Pico, another spinning back elbow in rounds one at 3 minutes 21 seconds. What did I like? Murphy delivered a spectacular elbow. Oh man, that was beautiful. That was beautiful, and it was as much as it was nasty. And it showcased his precision on striking and his timing. And this victory extends his undefeated streak to 17-0, and it solidifies his position as a top contender in the featherweight division. As far as Aaron Pico goes, I mean, displayed at least he was willing to engage in this fight, and he initially put pressure on Murphy, but it wasn't really enough. I think he needs to apply more pressure to whoever he fights next. I think he needs to apply more pressure, and I liked his early dominance, and it highlighted his potential when maintaining composure. But I think he needs to go back and like figure out like, okay, where did I go wrong? Like how do I how do I hmm, how do I go where do I go from here basically? Like I think he needs to go back to the drawing board on that one. What didn't I like? I don't really have anything negative to say about Lerone Murphy, but as far as Aaron Pico goes, His aggressive approach, it led to a lapse in defense, and it left him vulnerable to Murphy's counterattack. And that highlights the need for better control and awareness in future fights. And I think that note that I wrote down there, I think that kind of describes everything wrong with Aaron Pico's fighting. The need for better control and awareness. Like it's not that Aaron Pico's a bad fighter. He's a good fighter. It's just that he doesn't have the awareness just yet. But I mean that I think that can all change, but I think we'll have to wait and see. But as far as key takeaways, I liked Lerone Murphy's ability to capitalize on opportune moments when under pressure, and it underscores his potential as a future contender. Um, Pico, the biggest takeaway I can say for Aaron Pico, it emphasizes the importance of balancing aggression with defensive awareness, and to avoid and with defensive awareness to avoid leaving openings for counterattacks. Now we got to talk about that post fight call out of from Lerone Murphy. Where do I see this going? Okay, following his victory, Lerone Murphy made a bold statement calling out featherweight kingpin Alexander Volkanovski. He said, and I quote, "The sport's all about moments, and I just created one. I need something like this. I'm next in line. Let's go, Volkanovski." Volkanovski responded positively, inciting interest and indicating interest in the matchup. He said, "See you in December. Congrats." Where do I see this going? I think this honestly, the potential impact of this fight between Murphy and Volkanovski would be a compelling addition to the featherweight division. Because I mean, think about this. Besides guys like Lopez, I mean Ortega's still up there. Holloway's Holloway's nowhere. Holloway's done with featherweight. I mean, there's not really anybody for Volk to fight. I think a fight between Lerone Murphy and Volkanovski would be a hell of a fight. I think it would deliver not only just high level striking, tactical warfare, but I think it'll capture our attention too. This fight won't there won't be any. I guarantee you, I doubt there will be any takedowns or any like wrestling or like this will be a 5 round war. Like and if it'll be all stand up. I feel like. But I mean, we'll have to see what happens in December. I mean, who knows what Dana White and all these other the matchmakers are cooking with these type of fights. You want to jump in, Matt? You want to say anything?
No, I mean if that's it, you went over the main event,
No, the
and
main event. We're not. Don't. We have the main event actually. I just wanted to ask you like if you want to say anything about the co-main.
no, I think that Volk will put on a good fight in December. I'm looking forward to it. Going to be very exciting.
All right, all right. Main event time. 5 rounds for the middleweight championship. The undefeated Hamza Chimaev versus Drakus Duplessis. If you didn't watch the fight on Saturday night, this was honestly just to put it in light terms, this was an absolute ass whooping.
Boring.
It was boring too. Yeah, that it was, my friend. Hamza Chimaev beat Drakus Duplessis via unanimous decision, 50-44, 50-44 on all the scorecards. Here we go. What I liked. Hamza Chimaev's dominance. Chimaev just delivered a masterclass in grappling, and I can't believe I'm actually going to say this sentence. He secured 12 takedowns and maintained over 21 minutes of control time. Let that
Jeez.
sink in.
Jeez. Yeah, we
21.
watched him strangle DDP to the ground, Dricus Duplessis to the ground for over 20 minutes. You know, I don't want to be one of those guys that's all pissed off because it's boring. At the end of the day, it was a crowning moment for Chimaev, and he really deserved it. Right? He's been
Yep.
one of the most interesting, fun fighters to watch in the UFC, and he defeated Dricus Duplessis for the middleweight championship of the world in dominant fashion. So it's just tough, and I'll let you get into it with your notes and finish out here. But I do want to talk about this fight and specifically the future of UFC.
Okay. All right. Let me. All right. So my second note here is cardio and control. Chimaev's conditioning, honestly, exceptional, and it allowed him to maintain a high pace throughout all the 5 rounds, and his ability to control Duplessis and dominant positions. It demonstrated his physical and technical prowess. And if you know anything about Hamza, that's what he's known for. He's notorious for taking you down and dragging you like to the deep waters. And that's, I think that was one of the big things that we were questioning leading up to this fight is that if and I said it to my friends too, whoever scores that first takedown is most likely going to win the fight. And guess who ended up securing the first takedown? If you didn't know, it was Hamza. But as far as what I didn't like, lack of a striking threat. Jesus. Let this sink in. 37 significant strikes only out of 5 rounds. 37. That is terrible.
It's quite unbelievable.
And then this is another thing that we were talking about too. I do have a note here. Limited damage inflicted. This fight lacked significant damage from both fighters. Chimaev's control, it was dominant, but it did not translate into visible harm to Drakus, and they made the bout boring. Like, how many times do you guys want to? Would you guys rather see a 5 round war, or would you rather see Hamza use a crucifix for three for half of the fight? Like, come on, man. I'm not against wrestling either. I think it's a good martial art, but when you're doing shit like that, man, like I'm sorry, man. I damn near fell asleep halfway through that fight. It was so bad. It was boring. But
Yeah, no, this wrestling is part of the sport, right? With MMA, wrestling is part of the sport,
yes,
and we're entering a new age of UFC where wrestling is prominent, right? We're
yep,
seeing a lack of American representation with the championship because they keep getting their ass kicked, which is fine. But all in all, hand in hand, it's slowly been deteriorating interest and intrigue within UFC pay per views. We've had a good run with UFC pay per views. We've had our highs, we've had our lows, more highs than lows, way more highs than lows. But we're getting to a point where something needs to give. And something did give as of recent, as UFC announced a partnership to feature all of their events on Paramount Plus starting in 2026. Gone is the pay per view model for UFC,
yeah,
as Paramount Plus will be streaming the UFC numbered shows and fight nights, to my knowledge. So, not only is that great for accessibility, but it blends with the times of subpar fighting, right? And perhaps somebody that does wrestling, does Brazilian jiu-jitsu disagrees with me, right? It is very interesting and it's a part of the sport, but we are not in the era of heavyweight knockout main events. We're not, and that's okay. We are entering a new era, and while the pay-per-view model and it's going away is a reflection of the product with UFC. It's also going to be fantastic for accessibility. I guarantee you a ton of wrestling fans get into it just because it's there for them to watch. Whereas even if you are a diehard UFC fan, it's really hard to shell out all this money every month to watch one, every once in a while two championship fights. And lately there hasn't even been a lot of ranked versus ranked on these pay-per-view cards. It's just time for a change, you know. And I think it's going to work. I think the fact that they made this decision is good. I didn't expect them to. I expected them to keep it rolling and try to run the race even when adversity strikes. Um, but I'm glad that something is going to give. I'm glad that I don't have to worry about shilling out money or having to go somewhere for a UFC pay per view. It's really going to take the pressure off of UFC's current condition, right? UFC is still fantastic.
Yeah,
UFC is still amazing. I still love it like crazy. And yeah, it's just getting with the times, realizing what's going on, picking up the money by signing with Paramount Plus and making it easier for the consumers, with all the bullshit we've been dealing with in terms of TKO type shit with WWE to see UFC do something like this and just make it extremely, accessible starting in 2026 is fantastic.
it
So
is.
I think about this main event, which was a snoozer, right? It was an absolute domination. It was DDP getting smothered for 20 minutes, 20 plus minutes.
Yep.
Um, and I'm like, you know what? The future's okay, right? Because we're not gonna have to worry about shelling out all this money to see this next time. The risk reward will disappear, and we'll just have fun. Whether it's an amazing fight or a mid fight, there won't be a high buy-in anymore, and I appreciate that. As yeah.
Right, and I mean, like we talked about on the show. I mean, we said that. Remember how I was complaining like about a month ago how like I hate paying 80 $90 for a fight that I don't even know the outcome of. Like we don't know. It's not like WWE or like, oh, okay, like we know this guy's fighting this guy and like who we. I don't want to say it, that's a fair comparison either, but I feel like in turn like we don't like in terms of the U like let me say this. If I'm gonna pay like $50 for a WWE pay per view, at least I don't know. At least I'm knowing I'm gonna get a good match, hopefully. But in terms of UFC, like I don't even know, like we don't know how the fights are gonna go. We don't know how the fights are gonna go. Like you said, it can be a war. It can be like Stephen Bonner versus Forrest Griffin, or it could be like Adesanya versus Romero. Like it can be a good fight, or it can be a shitty fight. And I like that. I'm grateful now that they're finally doing away with the pay per view model. I think that's been dead for a long time. I mean, I don't know what took the UFC so long. I think maybe it was greed that maybe it got in the way. But I'm happy that now I can just pay like $12 a month and I get to watch every UFC card. Now, does that mean the fights are going to be good? Who knows? But we'll have to wait and see on that. But that's UFC 319 in a nutshell. I mean, I thought if I had to rate this card, man, I'm going 6. I'll go 7. The main event kind of killed the vibe for everything else. But as far as the other fights, they were actually pretty damn good. I mean, but that's my opinion, and I'll toss it right back to my brother right here. Wrestling is bullshit. Take it away, brother.
Yeah, TKO adjacent things that we have been able to see this past weekend was, of course, Triple Mania, which WWE had its hands all over. This is the second WWE X Triple Mania show that we have gotten to enjoy since the acquisition of WWE by AAA Lucha Libre. Right, the first one was a Worlds Collide event, which is seeming to be synonymous with what Saturday night's main event is. It's not APLE, it's not a weekly show, but it's somewhere in the middle. Um, so yeah, we got some interesting things with Triple Mania. We really got to see what WWE has in store and how they would like to use Triple Mania, right? So we got to see um, the presentation, the glitz, the glamour, the in ring action. We saw two big takeaways. We saw El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. win the AAA Latin American Championship, and we saw Pagano and Psycho Clown win the AAA World Tag Team Championship. And what were two fantastic matches amongst many other matches on the night. Right, this had about 6 matches on it, several championship matches, a lot of WWE superstars meshing and mixing with luchadors from AAA. Very fun stuff. WWE had his hands all over Triple Mania. I think it's a good home for Triple Mania. The future for AAA Triple Mania looks bright. I mean, it's named seemingly after WrestleMania, so it only makes sense that WWE is now the owner and facilitator for Triple Mania. I'm excited to see where AAA is in 3 years. I'm excited to see where AAA is in 5 years. I think the future is so bright. I think there's a lot of talent uh, in the luchadors of AAA, and I think they're going to have an opportunity to go to the main roster if they want to, but also, between the AAA roster and the WWE Latin community, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, Penta, Ray Phoenix, Dragon Lee, Santos Escobar. You have all these wrestlers that aren't really doing too much on the main roster, and AAA is right there for them to shine in their corner of pro wrestling, which is Lucha Libre. And I think that that's excellent. We're gonna see some great things. We're gonna see some great Lucha Libre. It's gonna be accessible and available to the entire world through WWE's YouTube channel as of right now. I'm sure they'll get a deal going with Peacock or what have you, either ESPN streaming service, most likely Netflix, maybe even Disney Plus. They're going to pick that money up, and I'm excited for the future of AAA. I think it looks really good. Something that was TKO adjacent through WWE's partnership with TNA, but WWE what didn't really have a presence in was TNA's premium live event, TNA Emergence, which ultimately went head to head with SmackDown. Which is, I've expressed concerns with that. I think it just comes down to agreements that TNA has made before they partnered with WWE. But I look forward to a day where I don't have to pick between SmackDown or a TNA Premium Live event. Nonetheless, I did pick TNA Emergence this past Friday, and we got a good showing, man. We saw the retirement of Sami Callihan, who's a legend. It looked like it was time for him to retire, to be honest, but he put on a good match, getting pinned by Mike Santana in a Baltimore street fight. We saw a phenomenal successful defense of the TNA International Championship by Steve Macklin against Jake Something in a no countouts, no disqualification match. That Macklin is the freaking man, and he's making that TNA International Championship mean something. So that was fantastic. And then, of course, Trick Williams retains the TNA World Championship against Moose in what felt like a big fight. Was this TNA's best foot forward? No, but it wasn't bad at all. It was fine. It was a solid premium live event that I was able to watch on TNA Plus on Friday afternoon. And I'm glad I did because sometimes I just need some TNA in my life, man. We get so oversaturated with the WWE and the AEW and the this and the that and all the bullshit. Like sometimes it's just nice to watch TNA. Sometimes it's just nice to watch Steve Macklin do his thing. Sometimes it's just nice to watch Moose do his thing. Like I understand we're seeing a lot of TNA stars and a lot of TNA content on NXT and even having the TNA World Champion at WrestleMania this year with a surprise. We're seeing a lot of this stuff and becoming more familiar with TNA and its superstars, its wrestlers, I should say. But sometimes you just got to turn that TNA on, man. It is it's good stuff. It's nice. It's a nice break from everything, and I really did enjoy TNA Emergence. I enjoyed Triple Mania because it's Lucha Libre, right? And WWE is having its hand in it now, doing justice by it so far. So far, so good. It's been excellent, right? We just saw AAA, Lucha Libre, Luchadors on SmackDown and Raw as of very recent. So it's been a good partnership. I really enjoy it. I definitely thought they were gonna have their hands on NXT a little bit more than the main roster, but I'm so glad that they are utilizing main roster superstars to wrestle in Mexico, right? Wrestle these Worlds Collide events, having Judgment Day run point, right? Dominic Mysterio main eventing Triple Mania this year. We had Finn Balor and JD McDonough in a match. So just really good stuff from AAA and TNA, both putting on special shows Friday night and Saturday night. Very fun stuff. Very fun weekend, especially with the UFC pay per view. Very full weekend, I should say. But that's all I got to say about that, man. We had two title changes in Triple Mania, none in TNA. We talked about UFC 319. I think it's time to look ahead at two big shows going head to head on Saturday evening before we get out of here. So let's go ahead and look at what is, in both of our opinions, I can imagine the more exciting one first, right? That's AEW X New Japan Forbidden Door. We have another Forbidden Door upon us, and while this does feel like the least amount of collaboration we're seeing, right? We're seeing a lot of AEW versus AEW matches. We're seeing some New Japan. It's still going to be a fantastic show. I mean, you look at this card and you're like, there's no way this isn't going to be awesome. And at this point, after years and years and years, there's just a humongous trust with AEW to put on fantastic shows and make the pay per view model work for them, because it has. I don't mind spending money on an AEW show. They're very entertaining. Like, I know what I'm in for. I'm in for a long show, and I know I'm in for constant action, but I don't mind that. it works in contrary to WWE's slower pace very well, where I can enjoy WWE and catch my breath and not feel like I'm oversaturated with the speed of the matches and the constant, okay, this match, okay, now let's go to this match, okay, now let's go into this match. Like WWE has their own style and it's a little more digestible, consumer friendly. But I'm such a wrestling fan that I turn on AEW. I'm like, okay, I can run the race. Give me another good match. Let's go. You think I'm tired? Nah, I'll watch another good match. Screw it. Let's go. I pay my money. Let's get it. Nonetheless, guys, let's get into this card here. Let's get into this card.
Do it.
Hey, Ant, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. You want to do every single match that's been announced, or do you want to just do the matches of significance? What are you feeling, bud?
Ooh, I mean, we don't have to. We can, if you want. I mean, we can go every single match. I mean,
Let's do it. Okay. I was
do
just
it.
curious as to what you wanted to do.
Let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it. So we have a high caliber tag team match, right? We have Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, legendary tag team reuniting, and they're taking on the matriarchy, which is Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne. This is totally a story that's tied to Christian Cage as he has lost himself and found himself tagging with Adam Copeland again. What are your thoughts, man?
I love this story, man. I mean, it just like if you like, these are my two favorite wrestlers of all time, Cope, Edge, and Christian. These are two of my all-time favorites. Well, everybody calls him Cope now, but he'll always be Edge to me. But I love this storyline. I like the fact that, like, when I was at All In Texas, man, when Adam Copeland came out and he did the whole, like, he helped Christian Cage fight off the matriarchy. That was really cool. Like, it felt like I was back in, I guess, like the 2000s again. Like, it felt like we were seeing Edge and Christian. We're gonna see Edge and Christian one more time, and I think I think this storyline has the potential of being a really good one. I think as long as they can plant this, I mean, as long as they keep doing what they're doing, then they will. This will be a hell of a storyline. But if I know, are we doing picks or curious?
No, we can. Do you want to do picks? I really don't mind just running down this card and
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
my
all right.
thoughts. But we can do picks if you want. I'm totally in if that's what
No,
you
but
want to do.
if I had to, I mean, I'm just gonna give my picks. I mean, you don't have to. But if I had to pick, I'm going Cope and Christian Cage.
Yeah, there's no way they don't win this match right here.
Not
There's
it.
no way they don't win this match. This is their first time tagging in a very long time. Very cool that they took their time with this story. It's going to be really surreal to see these two legends get back in the ring and do what they do, right? So much chemistry, a real friendship behind the scenes. And yeah, super exciting. Next, we have the TNT Championship on the line as Kyle Fletcher, who is gunning to be the best TNT champion in the world ever because he's just doing such a fantastic job with it, right? We have Kyle Fletcher defending against Hiromu Takahashi. And this match is going to be fantastic. I feel like both guys are in similar spots in their respective companies. I just think Hiromu's a little bit more of a legend and Kyle's a little bit more of an up and comer. I think we'll see a lot of parallels with how Kyle's career goes when compared to Hiromu Takahashi. I'm very excited to see these two guys get in the ring and further the excellence that has been everything surrounding the TNT Championship.
Right. I think you hit the nail on the head right there again. This feels like old dog versus new dog, or like old dog versus new dog almost. Like I like the way they're booking Kyle Fletcher. I think that match with him and Dustin Rhodes was awesome. I think I love Takahashi. I think he's a legend, but Kyle Fletcher, man, he's got the potential to be a world champion, and I think maybe in 3 years we'll see Kyle Fletcher win the big one. But I'm taking Kyle Fletcher on this one. Um, yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah, Kyle Fletcher all day.
be a
Yeah,
hell.
there's no way you take the title off him. I mean, I love Hiromu Takahashi, but this is an opportunity to further Kyle Fletcher's greatness that we are witnessing right now. Now, I want to bring up two matches that will be happening. They're not solidified yet, as in we don't know who their opponents will be. We'll have to find out on Dynamite, but I do want to shout them out before we move on to a match I'm very excited for. We have Mercedes Monet defending the TBS Championship in a four-way match, and then we have the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Hurt Syndicate, defending their championship belts. So we'll find out more on Wednesday, AEW Dynamite, who will be filling the roles of these title matches at Forbidden Door. And then we have the first AEW Unified Championship defense as Kazuchika Okada defends his new title against Swerve Strickland in what is one of the biggest matches I've been excited for all year. Just such a big fan of Okada. He really did get me into New Japan, and such a big fan of Strickland, who has really found his own in AEW and just become a mega star. It's been inspiring to see. It's been fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing these guys burn the freaking house down. Uh, Definitely have Okada going over in this one. As much as I would love for Swerve to win, I think Okada just won this unified championship. He's the inaugural champion, so you keep the reign going and you go from there. But this is definitely a high caliber match. I'm sure they're going to tear the house down. And while it would be nice to see Swerve win, I'm just going Okada. I think it's the realistic bet. What do you think?
Right, and I think if I think besides the lights out match, I think this will be match of the night. Like Okada versus Swerve. This is a match I think I've been wanting to see for a long time. And honest, I like Okada is one of my goats in terms of New Japan. Like it's him and like other names that for the sake of time I won't get into. But I think Okada versus Swerve is going to be an amazing match. I think we will see some. I think we'll see some cool spots. I think we'll see a lot of real. I think this match will live up to the hype. And like you said, I would love to see Swerve win. But at the same time, I'm going Okada, man. I think Okada's got to win this one. I think he just won the unified championship, and I think it's his time. I mean, I mean, maybe the right guy will come along and take the title off of him, but I don't think Swerve is that guy yet. But I could be wrong. But I think Okada's got to win.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Our next match, the AEW Women's World Championship, we have Timeless Tony Storm defending that title against Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena. Now, when I ponder if Athena should win this AEW Women's World Championship while also holding the ROH Women's World title, I think why not? It'd be so much fun. But I think Athena's just doing so I mean, Tony Storm, Athena as well is doing fantastic, but Tony Storm is what I meant to say, or who I meant to say, is just doing so much fantastic work that you don't take the title off of her right now. I could see her holding this title for, I mean, literally like until late 2026, maybe even early 2027. I could literally see that happening. Would it be tough? Would it be a challenge? Would it be a stretch? Absolutely. Could they do it? Might they end up doing it just because she's the woman to beat and she's badass? Like, yeah, I think they can easily do this. But this will be a fun match. I mean, I've wanted to see Tony Storm versus Athena for a long time, especially at this stage, at this caliber. It almost feels like a forbidden door with AEW and Ring of Honor, even though they're under the same ownership. You just kind of don't see the Ring of Honor World Champion ever face the AEW World Champion, and here we have the Women's World Champions going at it on the Forbidden Door pay per view. Like I always kind of thought, like, oh, that feels like a weird Forbidden Door that is formed in itself, just because those who find themselves in Ring of Honor find themselves in a proving ground, and do indeed find it very challenging to get back up to AEW Dynamite and Collision. Dare I even say pay per views? So yeah, I'm excited for Tony Storm versus Athena. I'm taking Tony Storm here. I think it'd be fun if Athena won, right? It'd be very interesting. But at the end of the day, I got to go with Tony Storm. She's the best women's wrestler in the world right now, in my opinion. Absolutely.
I think so. I think Tony Storm's definitely. I agree with you. I think Tony Storm's definitely like. In my opinion, she's one of the best. Like, I wouldn't. I guess I could say like best women's world champion like right now in professional wrestling. And like you said, this will be a fun match, and we rarely get like AEW versus Ring of Honor, like especially in the women's division, like you said. And do I see? I think in terms of the title reign for Tony, I think I, my thing is with this is that is there really anybody that can really match up to her level? Because I feel like Athena's right here, but Tony Storm's way up here.
Yeah, no, there's nobody. Maybe Mercedes, but not even Mercedes yet. I'm sure you
No,
keep building her. You do something with her, right? You just keep it going with her, and eventually she'll be right there to take the title off of Tony. I
yeah,
think that's who's up next, just not anytime soon at all.
yeah, and I think this match will be really good. I do. I like Athena, but I don't think she's ready. I'm going Tony Storm, and still.
And still, hell yeah. Let's go ahead and look at this IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match as Zack Sabre Jr. defends the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Nigel McGuinness, who won the opportunity to face Sabre Jr. for the IWGP title, World Heavyweight title, on Collision. Now, when I looked at the options for who can face Zack Sabre Jr., especially in that match that took place on Collision recently, I thought Daniel Garcia was all over this. Have Daniel Garcia wrestle for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. That's just exciting, man. That's synergy right there. Like, why? I really wish they did that. But nonetheless, Nigel McGuinness is a legend. It will be a fantastic match. Nigel McGuinness versus Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, come on, let's go. That's going to be exciting. But I was really excited for ZSJ versus Daniel Garcia because I was for sure thinking that was going to happen. I got ZSJ retaining, of course. There's no way Nigel McGuinness wins this match, and I'm sure it'll be fantastic, even though I really wanted Daniel Garcia, man.
Yeah, I like this match. I mean, like you said, I think it would have been cool to see Zack Sabre Jr. versus Daniel Garcia. I think that would have been the better match. But not like you said, Nigel's a legend, and I think this will be a hell of a match. And if you look at, I think I think Zack Sabre Jr. is doing a hell of a job as IWGP champion. I mean, he defeated Haruki Goto for God's sake to become a 2-time champion. I mean, that's not an easy feat, man. I mean, I mean this matchup with Nigel and Zach will be good, but like you said, I do wish we could have gotten Danny Garcia instead. I think they that was right there in their hands, and I don't know why you don't pull the trigger on it. But I believe this match will deliver, and I think it will be. I feel like it will be the British strong. It might be British strong style. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a strong style, hard hitting match.
I'm going.
Um,
I'm going Zack Sabre Jr. though,
yeah,
and
yeah, man. There's no way he loses this belt right now. I definitely think I'd like to see him, Hiroki Goto, Hiroki Goto go at it one more time. Um, I'd like to see Yota Tsuji get up in the mix. I think he was supposed to win the G1. That's my theory, but Konosuke Takeshita was a placeholder for it. I think Yota Tsuji got injured towards the end of that tournament, and they just gave it to Takeshita, which is great. Takeshita is fantastic, but it really seems like New Japan has the opportunity to brush up their main event scene here, and we'll see if they could do it. I know they've faced some adversity recently, and not all of it is their fault, right? Like part of New Japan dwindling just is synonymous with AEW success. Like if we want to have AEW at a high level, we have to accept that New Japan is dwindling. It's unfortunate and it sucks, but it's truth. We got two more matches here, nonetheless. Though we have the AEW World Championship. Now this has potential. This has grounds to be the greatest AEW World Championship match on a pay per view ever, and it is Hangman Adam Page versus MJF, the two biggest stars in AEW right now. Kind of defeats the purpose of the whole Forbidden Door concept, but that's why we have other things in place, right? Hiromu Takahashi fighting for the TNT title, ZSJ defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and then of course that lights out steel cage match. Nonetheless, man, I think this will be a S tier AEW World Championship pay per view match between MJF and Hangman. I definitely have Hangman retaining. It would be nuts if MJF won. I don't put it past them to do that right now because you could definitely tell a story with MJF having the AEW World Championship again and Hangman fighting and clawing to win it back. Like there's definitely opportunity to do that there and kind of close out the rest of the year with that. We'll see if they have the marbles to do that. But nonetheless, I do know bell to bell this is going to be freaking crazy. And my pick is Hangman. Who you got?
like you said, I think this has the makings of being a S tier match, and I wouldn't put it past these two. I think this will be hard hitting. This will be, to put it bluntly, it'll be a war. I think, and I'm going Hangman on this one. But if MJF were to win, I would be shocked, man. But at the same time, I wouldn't be because I mean, MJF's a fantastic heel, man. He's one of those guys that it's so easy to hate him. He's, to put it frank, an asshole. Like even knowing MJF, he'd probably take that as a compliment. But like I I think I wouldn't be shocked if MJF won this, but I'm going Hangman. I think this matchup will be a back and forth war. I think I think, like you said, S tier. I mean, but it has the makings of being a great match. I think Hangman's has already proven himself to be a great champion. I mean, just if you didn't see the match with Moxley at All In, you haven't seen some of his other stuff. He can be an amazing champion, but I'm going Hangman, man. I'm gonna go Hangman, just plain and simple.
Yeah, man. I will say though, it's very possible that MJF shocks the world this weekend and regains the AEW World Championship, and I'd be happy to see it. I love both wrestlers as a fan so much, right? Like Hangman finding his groove, having the moment that was always meant for him in AEW, winning that world title at All in Texas. And then you have MJF, who's just the greatest heel, and we all knew he was going to be destined for great things the moment we saw him come to AEW before it was even called AEW. Next, we have our main event, right? We have our lights out steel cage match. Oh boy. We have Darby Allin, the Golden Lovers, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay taking on the Death Riders and Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley, Gabe Kidd, and the Young Bucks. This is going to be a cluster. You know what I'm going to finish cluster with, right? This is going to be a cluster. This is gonna be nuts. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be absolutely nuts. And who's gonna win this, man? I mean, it's hard to tell. It's gotta be the baby faces, in my opinion. Unless you give Gabe Kidd a moment to pin Tanahashi, maybe something like that. The Young Bucks had their time in the sun. They're on a downswing. The Death Riders had their time in the sun. They're on a downswing. I'm gonna go with the baby faces, right? I'm gonna go with Darby Allin, the Golden Lovers, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay. But I will say, if there was a moment for Gabe Kidd to pin Hiroshi Tanahashi and kind of make his mark on as the future of New Japan, because I think he is, I would be happy to see that. But my pick is with the baby faces. I want to know what you think about this main event and who your pick is.
I think, like you said, man, this is gonna be as I think I'll just put it bluntly, as my one of my favorite metal bands, Sepultura, would say, chaos. This is gonna be chaos, absolute chaos, man. This is We got Osprey, Darby, Tanahashi, the Golden Lovers. Like we all know this is gonna be a war, dude. Like this, I think this will be match of the night, and I expect pure I expect pure shenanigans, man. Especially knowing the Death Riders. I mean, especially Moxley. I mean, he's notorious for his these type of matches. So, and plus, it's a lights out match, so it's gonna be a hell of a match. But I'm going baby faces as well. I think these guys are the baby faces are just too damn good, man. And I love Gabe Kidd, and I like Moxley, but sorry, man. I got to go with my dogs, Osprey and the Golden Lovers and Darby. But I think this matchup will be pure, absolute chaos.
Yeah, it's
Expect
gonna be
everything
so it's gonna be so much fun. I'm sorry to
to
cut
be
you off
fun.
there.
No, you're good,
Didn't
brother.
mean to.
No, you're good.
Um, yeah, no, looking up and down this card, we can already tell that while this does have more AEW centric storylines than we're used to getting with Forbidden Door, it's all good, right? We just saw for the first time New Japan add a second show less than 24 hours after Wrestle Kingdom every January called Wrestle Dynasty, and that's where New Japan takes point with AEW wrestlers coming to Japan and putting on a big show. It's okay if AEW leans a little bit more into being AEW centric for Forbidden Door from now on, because now New Japan has a show that features AEW wrestlers where they take point, and it really is a New Japan based run show. So I'm very excited, man. It's gonna be fantastic. I really wish we were getting Daniel Garcia versus Zack Sabre Jr., but I can't complain when we're getting Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness. Like, I really can't complain. So I'll just shut up about that. It's going to be so much fun. This is Forbidden Door is going to go in the books as another successful Forbidden Door collaboration event. Going to be super fun, And I'm even looking forward to Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty in January because this year it was also really fun. Just kind of bringing that up because it's synonymous with the AEW and New Japan partnership that we see come to fruition these days. Let's get into this is formally, officially, it's called WWE Heatwave. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and call it NXT Heatwave because it's an NXT show. And it's so freaking fake that they keep putting the WWE moniker in front of an NXT show because they're trying to go head to head with AEW. It's a nitpick. I'm not going to get into it too much, but I'm going to call it NXT Heatwave because it's an NXT premium live event. We have two matches of significance set in stone. I'll go through them real quick. We don't really have to give predictions or anything. I'll just say them, just so you know that this is going head to head with Forbidden Door. If you're smart, watch the good show, not NXT Heatwave. Although I will say, I am one to put the AEW pay per view on my big TV, and I have a little monitor that I place under the TV, and I put the NXT show on there because I have love and respect for NXT, just not love and respect for the way that WWE uses NXT. Especially with the exclusively with the counter programming. I think it's whack. It's not like AEW doesn't deserve it though. They totally asked for it, but Tony Khan has kept his mouth shut for over a year now, and we're stuck with these counter programming bullshits. So this is the world we live in. It's all good. We get more wrestling. No big deal. Let's get into these two matches, man. We have JC Jane defending the TNA Knockouts World Title against Ash by Elegance and Masha Slamovich, and then we also have Hank and Tank defending the NXT Tag Team titles against Dark State. Those are the only two matches of significance on this card for Heatwave, and I'm sure it'll be fine. NXT is a well-oiled machine. It's fun to watch. Like I love watching it. It's annoyingly fun to watch. Um, Unreasonably good is a way that I would explain NXT. I want to give NXT their flowers. I just think they're better than whatever the hell WWE has them doing. Just simply counter programming at its most annoying, right? So with that being said, guys, we have another weekend of wrestling ahead of us. We got two big shows coming up. We just got out of two big shows from AAA and TNA. We had a UFC pay per view alongside that. So a lot of stuff going on right now, a lot of moving parts. We'll be watching WWE Clash in Paris after this upcoming weekend. So the train just keeps on going. You know how it goes. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan. We are spoiled rotten, so enjoy it. Enjoy all of it. Just because I give my opinion on WWE's business ethics with counter programming doesn't mean I don't enjoy WWE. I love WWE a lot right now. Okay, let me make that very clear. I'm not trying to be tribalistic. I'm just trying to say what's right and what's wrong. Right. And AEW has made mistakes too, going after WWE's jugular instead of focusing on their own product and the betterment of it for years was their downfall, but they are on a comeback, and now they got to deal with the consequences while they return to the prominence that they were always meant to have. All right, that is all I have to say. I will let you sign out and tell the folks where they can find you, and we will get on out of here.
All right, man. I appreciate it. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ant, aka Heelsynergy, and my podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Heelsynergy. That's pretty much it, man. I mean, let me say one of my famous catchphrases. We're closing the cage on this one. Lights out is signing off. Big dogs for life. Chaos is appreciated, and of course, cheers to the fighters who never quit. I'm out of here, guys. Thank you.
Where's the boom? Let's go.
Woo! Let's go. There it is.
Let's go. Yes, we got to keep that in there. All right. Right on, guys. This has been Wrestling is Bullshit, the Wrestling is Bullshit podcast. Whether you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, or heard about us on Instagram, we appreciate your viewership. We talked about a whole great many things, very TKO centric show until we got into the predictions as we have the Forbidden Door pay per view coming up alongside NXT Heatwave, of course, going head to head. Let's get on out of here, guys. Go ahead and comment. Even if you're just calling me an idiot, just go ahead and comment. Comment something you want to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about it in our next show. Become involved. Enjoy yourself, enjoy life, be good, be happy. Unless you need to be sad, remember to feel it to heal it. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling now. Let's get on the hell out of here. Later, guys.